This is just part 4 of my update on the Ohio Traction project. Just as a reminder, this is a simple 5-foot by 30-inch module with quite a bit of street track running. I do have a return loop. This is my first foray into traction modeling. You might recall that in my last video I focused a lot on these turnouts, these ore girder rail turnouts, and installation of those. This is an overall image of the module. As you can see, I have most of the main, well, really all of the main trackage now in place. A view of the right side of the module with the return loop. And the left side of the module with another loop that'll go through part of a town. Now, while I have most of the trackage really in place, there are some sections that I'll need to improve. I'll need to paint the sections that are exposed and not covered in the brick and so forth. That'll be a street embedded trackage. I also need to add the girder rail portions for that trackage, which will be in the street. And I need to just do a little cleanup, add some additional ties, get things running smoothly. So hopefully I have most of my wiring done as well. This is just a couple images of the underside of the module. I will be planning to run the layout with overhead wire power, so the power will come from the transformer over through the overhead wire system into the motor of the Interurban car and then back out through the rails and return back to the transformer. So I don't know if I have everything worked out 100% now, but at least I've got my initial wiring done. There are two switches for which I've added a spring because I would like the direction to be constant for those, and just when the Interurban car comes back around, it'll open these springs and pass through without me having to throw the switch every time. Just a close-up of the springs I've installed for this purpose. And as I mentioned, I plan to operate the layout with overhead wire. So what I had to do was take the shell, the brass shell of the Interurban car, and add this wire, which comes from the pole on the exterior of the car, the roof of the car, and then it's soldered onto the body of the car, all that bringing in the power to connect to the motor. I'm getting kind of some mixed results as I'm testing this. I may have some shorts, and this is my first time around, but this is my goal at least. Here are a couple images of how I have my testing set up. I don't have the overhead wire set up yet, so I'm just attaching this alligator clip to the Interurban car, at least the frame and the motor and so forth in there, and that's attached to the power pack, the transformer, so I can at least test the car. Again, I'm having some mixed results. I have some more fiddling to do, but this gives you an idea of how I'm testing. So for those of you who are traction fans out there, I did want to add a few more images here just as kind of a bonus to my progress update. This is a photograph I took from obviously the other side of the fence at the Ohio Railway Museum, and that is an old streetcar from the Columbus streetcar system. At one time it was called the Columbus Power and Light Company. I don't know what it ended up being before it basically shut down the streetcar operations, I believe, in the late 1940s. This is one of the cars that was preserved. Obviously, it's mostly tarped right now. At one point, the museum was trying to raise funds to improve this car. I don't know whether they raised the funds they desire. They're still trying to do that. but that is a car that I'm grateful they were able to preserve as rail heritage here in the Central Ohio area. And a couple of other images of a PCC car. I'm not sure the origin of this one. It's certainly not Columbus, I don't think. And again, those of you that are interested in traction might appreciate this, might be able to tell me right away what that marking is for. But that's one of the cars the museum has as well. I also wanted to share some images of the Canal Winchester station, which was part of the Scioto Valley traction system that operated up until I think around 1930 in the Central Ohio area. Fortunately, this station was preserved fairly well, and there are some other buildings of the railway that are still in existence. I hope to later produce a short video that shares some of the information about this system and some of the buildings that are left. You might recall, I think in the first video I did on the Ohio Traction Project, I had some images of some street rail, and that was in Groveport, Ohio, and I believe that was part of the same traction system. And a couple other images of the station. As you can see in the lower right, it's very well preserved inside. There's this monitor on the wall, and it looked to me like, just from peering in from the outside, from which I got this image, it looks like it must be used for a local meeting place or a town council facility or something like that. But again, very well maintained. I'm appreciative of those who have kept this wonderful heritage. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'll try to post another update in the future. Not sure how long it'll be. This is kind of just a slow on the side project. I know it's a pretty small project as well. It's a learning experience for me. Sometimes frustrating, but again, a learning experience.